Jai Janindra, everyone. I welcome you all on this very special occasion of Bhagwan Mahavir Nirvaan Mahotsav. Popularly, we call it as Deepavali. In our religious terminology, we name it as Bhagwan Mahavir Nirvaan Mahotsav because today is that very special day when our 24th Tirthankar, Bhagwan Mahavir, Lord Mahavir, attained liberation, and followed by several other events which Rajesh, our guest today, here with us, and he will be explaining about whatever the events that happened and what the primary event, which is Bhagwan Mahavir Nirvaan Mahotsav, the entire story he will recite and how to celebrate, followed by your questions. So today is that very special day when Lord Mahavir attained liberation. He put a halt on this cycle of birth and death, which we are also a part of it since time infinity. And we are also practicing to put a halt on it, just like what our 24th Tirthankara, Lord Mahavir, has done. So, before I give this mic to Rajesh Uncle, I wanted to very shortly introduce you all with this platform since we have few people who have joined for the first time in this lecture. JEEV is Jain English Education and Values. Here is the portal where you will learn all the Jainism lectures, the psychologies, the philosophies, the principles, Gurudev Shri lecture snippets in English medium. So the people who are not very much comfortable with Hindi, Gujarati, or any other language, this is an English portal, and you have right to access the resources available. Further information I will give at the end of this session. Now I would invite Rajesh Uncle to throw some light on this very special occasion, Bhagwan Mahavir Nirvaan Mahotsav. Over to you, Rajesh Uncle.
Thank you, Harshil. We begin with Manglacharan. अरहंत सिद्ध सुर उपाध्याय साधु सर्व अर्थ के प्रकाशी मांगलिक उपकारी है। तीन को स्वरूप जानी रागते भई जो भक्ति काय को नमाए स्तुति को उच्चारी है। धन्य धन्य तुम्ही से काज सब आज भयो कर चोरी बारंबार वंदना हमारी है। मंगल कल्याण सुख ऐसो हम चाहते हो मेरी ऐसी दशा जैसी तुम धारी है। हो मेरी ऐसी दशा जैसी तुम धारी है। So tomorrow is the day when our last Tirthankar, Lord Mahavir, in whose we can say era, in whose time we are living right now, because it is always the last Tirthankar under whom we all belong to. Okay, so before Mahavir it was Parsnath Sashan, then now it is Bhagwan Mahavir's Sashan. So we all follow his preachings, and all his preachings have been included in the Dvat Shang. Okay, and from that Sang, whatever Jinwani we have got right now, that all belongs to Lord Mahavir's preaching only. Okay, so it encompasses the whole Jainism literature what we have right now. So Jainism is not a religion, but a way of life. It's an art of living. It's a spiritual journey that transforms a devotee into a deity, a seeker to a siddha. Okay. This path of emancipation or salvation is propagated by the Tirthankars. And the first name that comes to our mind is about Lord Mahavir. Mahatma Gandhi ji addressed him as Ahimsa ka avatar. Okay. Ahimsa means non-violence, the advocator of non-violence, which means the one who embodies non-violence. Lord Mahavir is like the mascot of Jain across the globe, as all sects of Jain are his devout followers. So, in every time cycle, there are only 24 Tirthankars in our region, which is known as Bharat Kshetra. Any place or preaching, okay, both the meanings belong to Tirth. Any place is also a Tirth, any preaching is also a Tirth, which can help a soul to attain liberation is called Tirth, and one who preaches this path is called Tirthankar. Lord Mahavir was the 24th and the last Tirthankar of this current time cycle in this region. So we are under his reign right now. So what we have today in form of various scriptures are nothing but his sermons that has been passed on from Mahavir Swami's divine sound to Gandhar, and from Gandhars to Acharyas, and in that lineage through scholars and the Jinvani, the scriptures, it has come eventually to us. This is the reason he is worshipped with great devotion, and we are deeply grateful for his sermons. So, today I would be emphasizing, of course, I will be explaining the life what Mahavir Swami lived. But apart from that, I would like to explore the inner transformation that he had undergone through at that point of time, and I would like to recreate those moments and align it with our present life and whatever we have uh, available, whatever is available with us in terms of the Jinvanis and the scholars' lectures and whatever we have, we would like to align all those things with this, our present associations, and try to carve out a path which Lord Mahavir followed. Okay, so it's going to be uh, quite immersive learning as well as immersive preaching. So we would try to go beyond the words and connect to the feelings that we experience all the time. So let's begin with the birth of Bhagwan Mahavir. Uh, Approximately 2600 years ago, on the 13th day of the waxing moon cycle in the month of Chaitra Shukla Trayodashi, a divine child was born to King Siddharth and Queen Trishla in Vaishali village. He was born in the warrior caste, Kshatriya Kul, which is an upper caste where humans with exceptional valor and talent are born. He was not born as Lord Mahavir. In fact, nobody can take birth as a god. All gods are born as humans who accept monkhood and become God after deep penance, austerity, introspective meditations, and after destroying all passions and obscuring karmas. Okay, but here again I would like to connect. He was just like us one day, and from that position he rose to go on to become the Lord Mahavir, the Tirthankar. So we are also positioned in the same manner, although we would not like to become Tirthankar because Tirthankars are only 24 in a time cycle. But having said that, we all want liberation. We want liberation from all the three types of karmas: Dravya karma, material karma, then we have no karma, quasi karma, and bhav karma. Okay, bhav karma is the psychic karma or the emotional part, So we would like to get rid of all these three karmas and get liberated just like Lord Mahavir. So we would like to see what Lord Mahavir, how he started his journey, and what are the phases of his life where he faced challenges, and how he overcome all those challenges and ultimately conquer all kind of toxic emotions and attain liberation. So every story of our Paratman Yoga ends up the hero getting liberated. Okay, so this story is not any different. Lord Mahavir also got liberated, and we will see how this journey unfolded in his life and what were the situations that he faced as we move along his life journey. Okay, so Sri Mahavir, so Lord Mahavir become later on. So Sri Mahavir, or the child Mahavir, took birth as a human being with certain exceptional qualities, as he was the soul of a Tirthankar and had already attained right belief in his earlier birth. So one thing unique with Tirthankar is when they are born with right belief. Despite being born in the warrior caste, he never engaged in any violence. Okay. The only war he fought was with his toxic emotions and won over them to attain liberation, also helping many other souls attain the same through his preachings, the sermons, the Divya Dwani, and the Jinvani that we have right now. He himself was an embodiment of non-violence and preached that you win over the entire universe when you win over your passions, and there is nothing left out of your knowledge once you know yourself. So his total lifespan of 72 years, we are going to see how it unfolded. Uh, so in his lifespan of 72 years, wherein the first 30 years he spent his life as a prince, and then he got initiated into monkhood. He became a Digambar monk, and next 12 years he was following all kinds of austerities and penances, along with the self introspective meditation of the soul. And at the age of 42, he conquered the four obscuring karmas and attained uh, omniscience knowledge. Okay, and then next 30 years he spreaded this religion of Jainism throughout the length and breadth of this country, and ultimately at the age of 72 he got liberated, which is going to be tomorrow is the day. On this particular day he got liberated, and in the evening, the same day in the evening, so morning at 4 o'clock, Lord Mahavir got liberated, and in the evening his disciple, the Gandhar Gautam, the preceptor, he also got liberated in the evening. Okay, so like any Tirthankar, we begin with his 5 auspicious events uh, called Kalyanaks, were celebrated. The conception event, Garbha Kalyanak, was celebrated by celestial beings who rained heavenly gems, not sorry, heavenly gems thrice a day for 6 months prior to his conception till the time he was born. When he was born, his birth event, Janma Kalyanak, was celebrated with great joy by the celestial beings along with his parents and other relatives. He was taken to the top of Mount Meru on Pandukshila, where his adamantine body was bathed with 1008 pitchers of water from an ocean named Shir Sagar. His parents named him Vardhaman. Looking at his exceptional caliber and deep, insightful knowledge. So, one mistake I did, thanks for pointing. So, the Gautam Gandhar, he achieved Keval Gyan in the evening. Not he didn't get liberated at that point of time. The morning, Bhagwan Lord Mahavir got liberated, and in the same day, evening time, Gautam Gandhar got omniscience knowledge, and later on he also got liberated, because once you manifest omniscience knowledge, the next step is obviously the liberation. Okay. So as a child, Vardhaman, his name was Vardhaman. Their parents named him Vardhaman. So as a child, Vardhaman was very handsome, impressive, and healthy. True to his name, he displayed constant growth and progress. He had a special aura about him which never failed to impress anyone and left everyone with awe. To praise and admire his beauty, the Surpati Indra made a 1000 eyes. Being an enlightened soul since birth, he was engaged in deep discriminative thinking. He was not only polite and respectful, but also brave and fearless. His extraordinary qualities made him popular by 5 names. Those names are Vardhaman, Veer, Ativir, Mahavir, and Sanmati. Each name has got its own significance and a story is all attached to it, but we are not going to discuss that story. You can read it in this article on the JEEV platform, because I want to explain the other part which is not there here in the book that I want to explain. So then I will fall short of time. So you can read it that. These incidents throw light on his intelligence and exceptional bravery. He kept his cool and balanced his mind. Now this sentence appeals me the most. He kept his cool and balanced his mind in the most challenging and difficult situations, giving easy solutions for the most complex problems. Why? Because he was a right believer since birth. And when you are a right believer, enlightened soul, all these things automatically happens in your life. So balancing his mind in the most challenging and difficult situation, having that patience, calmness, the tranquility, the serenity, all these are associated with a right believer. So the first steps in the path of liberation is to manifest right belief. And we also would try to do that first in the first place. Okay. Now what happens when your belief turns right, or maybe when you study the scriptures? So you are able to balance your mind. That is one thing. You are trying to balance everything in your life. That is one thing. And the next thing was giving easy solution was for the most complex problems. Now this solution part is very, very inspiring. Life is so simple that you really need to enjoy every moment of it, provided you understand few principles in Jainism, what has been explained in Jainism. Only few principles, not very high rocket science. You don't need very high intellect to understand this. Very simple uh, doctrines, that we are going to discuss at the end of the lecture, which is what Lord, which is what child Vardhaman did while he was since a child. He started learning all these techniques, as we will see. So once you learn all these techniques, whatever complex problems are there in your life, it becomes so simple for you. So simple for you that you really enjoy those moments. Instead of suffering, the situation demands, of course, it's an adverse situation, so it demands that you bleed little bit, you manifest passions like anger, pride, deceit, greed, etc., etc. But just because you are equipped with the understanding of these principles, you are not manifesting all those. In fact, you are enjoying those adverse situations and you have turned those adverse situations into an opportunity. Now, this kind of transformation uh, is the ultimate creativity that we can think of right now. And when you become creative, you enjoy every moment. Okay. So this would be our endeavor as we learn through the life of Vardhaman Swami. We will see how he inculcated those principles in his day-to-day life. Despite the above, he was humble and modest, as he was well aware of the fact that he was not the doer of any of the above feats, but only a passive observer. You know, once you have the right belief and you know that you are a pure soul, you are only a knower and seer and not doer, then by default you become a passive observer. And when you become an observer, that is the time you enjoy eternal bliss. Okay. To become a doer brings anxiety, perturbedness, passions, attachments, aversions. There is a whole lot of list of passions. But when you become an observer, you enjoy those moments, you enjoy eternal bliss. This makes all the difference. As he started growing older, his introspection and discriminative knowledge, Ved Vigyan, increased many folds. So, this is the journey that as you tread along, you become expert. You keep on innovating new things and you master this technique of discriminative knowledge. So, you are able to connect to your soul very fast. So, all this needs little bit of practice, but it is not that difficult as we would have done in our worldly life. To achieve success, we do what not things. First of all, 16 hours of study, and then you get a degree, and with that degree you get a job, and that great big packages, and with those big packages comes the responsibilities. So you put in 16 hours of time in the job, and by the time you reach 50, you never enjoyed your life because you were chasing success all the time. But success depends on your past auspicious and inauspicious karmas. So what you did all was very futile. Anyway, with auspicious karma, you would have achieved it. But because of ignorance, we are not able to realize this, and we spend our life mostly in doing things which is not going to help us in any way. Okay. So here is an opportunity for us to understand this principle, apply them in our day-to-day life, and see how our life becomes so simple and enjoyable. As he started growing older, his introspection and discriminative knowledge increased many folds. He would resolve doubts which anyone had with the simplest of example. An incident from his life is very popular in this context. So, the first principle that we saw in his life was about the practicing non-violence, ahimsa. Okay. The second principle that is coming up is the Syadvad. So this is the story which depicts that how is an expert in this principle or the doctrine of Anekant Syadvad. So this story, once he was sitting in solitude, engaged in deep thought on the fourth floor of his palace. His friends came over and asked his mother about his whereabouts. Queen Trishla, who was on the first floor, simply said he is above. The young kids rushed to the seventh floor only to find his father, King Siddharth, there. They were confused and now asked the king as to where Vardhaman was. King Siddharth simply said he is down. Now the friends were more puzzled and started searching for Vardhaman. So they started searching where Vardhaman was. King Siddharth simply said he is down. Now the friends were more puzzled and started searching for Vardhaman on every floor of the palace to finally find him on the fourth floor. They told Vardhaman about the entire incident, complaining how the king and the queen said different things about his whereabouts. Vardhaman casually and calmly explained that both were right. From the queen's perspective, he was above, since she was in the first floor, and from the king's perspective, he was down, since he was on the seventh floor. He thereby correlated the above event to one of the most difficult principles of Jainism, namely Syadvad. From a certain perspective, every statement in Jainism is made from a certain perspective. If you understand that perspective, then you will be able to understand, then your understanding would be correct. And when your understanding would be correct, the doubts, the perverseness, and the indecisionness does not arise. So your knowledge becomes right. Okay. So this principle of Syadvadi explained like this. A situation or a substance always has many perspectives to look at. Syadvad is the assertion of possibilities, which is the essence of Jainism, that depicts a substance from different points of view. This gives a comprehensive understanding of any substance, paving the way for the right knowledge. So we move on to his further life journey. As he reached the peak of his youth, his parents and others tried to persuade him to get married. But he was aware that true bliss lies in the soul and can be attained only by renunciation. He has made up his mind to remain away from the sensory desires and pleasures, and no amount of convincing or persuasion could budge him. At the tender age of 30, he embraced asceticism and became a Jain monk living in the jungle. So for the next 12 years, he was into deep introspective meditation. Uh, Generally, with the Tirthankars, they never utter a word until they attain omniscience. So for 12 years, he meditated, he went into deep meditation, and he manifested the omniscience knowledge at the age of 42. So at the age of 42, he destroyed all his toxic emotion as well as subsidiary passions. As he climbed the ladder of annihilation, Shapak Shreni, the four obscuring karmas completely dissociated and he attained omniscience. The four infinites, the Anant Chatushtais, infinite knowledge, infinite perception, infinite energy, and infinite bliss emerged, and he attained godhood. As he was the soul of a Tirthankar, after omniscience, the fruition of Tirthankar Nam Karma led to the construction of a holy assembly hall, Samosaran, the congregation, by the celestial beings. His entire supernatural body, Param Avdarik Sharir, emanated the divine sound, Divya Dhvani, which is an Om sound devoid of letters, capable of being understood by all beings in their own languages. So, after attaining the omniscience knowledge for 66 days in the holy assembly hall, there was no divine sound, which was quite unusual. The king of celestial being Indra, Sodam Indra, got to know from his clairvoyance knowledge that in the absence of a chief preceptor called Gandhar, the sermons would not be delivered. He came to know about Indrabhuti Gautam is the one who is the eligibility of being Lord's first Gandhar, and he needs to be brought in the assembly hall. But Indrabhuti was a reputed Brahmin scholar, highly intelligent and more than 500 disciples. Saudharma Indra himself went to him in the disguise of an old man, asking Gautam to tell him the meaning of a difficult verse, because he could not ask his own guru, who was in deep meditation. He challenged Gautam that he may not be able to do it, but Gautam was full of pride and accepted the challenge, failing which he promised to be a disciple of the old man's guru. Saudharmendra poetically cited a verse asking the number of elements, substances with more than one space point, that is astikai, religion, and the components of scriptural knowledge. Indrapati was baffled hearing the verse, as he did not know the answer to any of it. But his pride did not let him express the truth, and he egoistically commanded the old man to take him to his guru, because he would only engage in argument with the learned scholar. Saudharma Indra knew he was successful in his mission and brought Indrabhuti at the divine assembly hall. Just one glance of the magnanimous Manstam minaret constructed on four sides of the divine assembly melted all his pride, and he bowed at the feet of Lord Mahavir. He realized how meager his knowledge was in front of the Lord's omniscience. He, along with his two brothers and 500 disciples, renounced worldly possessions and accepted Jain monkhood. Indrabhuti Gautam now became Gautam Gandhar, the leader of monks and the bearer of four kinds of knowledge: sensory, scriptural, clairvoyance, and telepathy. Owing to his divine sound of Lord Mahavir emanated and blessed all the mundane souls for another 30 years, showing the true path of liberation. At the age of 72, Mahavir destroyed all non-obscuring karmas. So four obscuring karma already were destroyed when he manifested omniscience knowledge. Now these non-obscuring karmas also were destroyed, and he was liberated forever from Pavapuri in Bihar on the early morning of the new moon day in the month Hindu month of Kartik Krishna Amavasya, which we celebrate as Diwali. So tomorrow is the day, and we are understanding his life and the story, just that tomorrow we are also able to celebrate in the right sense. Gandhar also attained omniscience on the very same day in the evening. This makes Diwali a very special occasion for all Jains. Instead of celebrating Diwali as a festival of indulgence, one must use it as an opportunity to delve deeper into the preachings of Sri Mahavir and celebrate it like he did, by getting self-realization and then further walking on the path of liberation and ultimately getting liberated. So we come to now the final part of our today's presentation. I want to discuss, like we already saw, the principle of non-violence, which was discussed in his story. Then the principle of non-absolutism, Anekant Syadvad, that also we discussed. Then the other popular principle that is very popular with Lord Mahavir, in fact, in the other Jain sects, they say 3 A's. They identify Mahavir with 3 A's: Ahimsa, Anekant, Aparigraha. Aparigraha means non-possessiveness. But we are going to discuss few more principles. I'll try to connect it to the essence of each principles, and maybe the practical use of applying it in our day-to-day life. Time permitting, I will try as much as I can. So the spiritual journey inspired by the spiritual journey of Lord Mahavir. Just as I said that he was just like us one day. And from there, he rose and became Lord Mahavir. So we can also do that. First thing, we need to have belief in ourselves that every soul can attain godhood. Okay. So this spiritual journey begins with once we get rid of delusion. So how do we get rid of delusion? So we have 3 steps enumerated here. First is you read the scriptures. The scriptures are nothing but the preachings or the sermons of Lord Mahavir. Okay. So first you read it and then you contemplate on it, reflect on it, analyze it. Okay. This is the second step. And the third step is to arrive at a decision. Okay. Only 3 steps will get rid of delusion. Okay. So this is thing. So when you get rid of delusion, what actually happens practically? Our active consciousness, which is always engaged in the external world since time immemorial. Okay. Now that active consciousness, we have to turn towards ourself. Okay. And when that active consciousness turns towards self, it gets uh, uh, it not gets, I would not say mixed up. I want to convey, it becomes abhed. Now, abhed is indivisible. Okay. It becomes one with the pure soul. Okay. So when our active consciousness becomes one with the pure soul, that is the time the self-realization happens. That experience is itself the self-realization, and that is the right belief, and that is the beginning of the path of liberation. So when you realize yourself, uh, what led to the transformation of active consciousness from the external substances towards the self, that I want to discuss. I want you to imagine uh, how this transformation happened. Okay, the inner transformation. What led to that inner transformation, which we were not able to do it since time immemorial, and what is the opportunity that we have in the present. Okay, we are going to recreate those moments with the help of some of the principles, and we will see that how all these principles leads us to that self realization. Okay. So we begin with this few principles. I'm going to discuss 8 in all, 2 minutes each. Okay. So hopefully I'll be completing the session on time, little bit here and there, but more or less I'll be trying to complete it on time. So the first principle that I would like to emphasize on is the 4 exposition. We are all aware of the 4 expositions: Pratman Yog, Karnan Yog, Charnan Yog, and Dravyan Yog. The sermons of the Lord Mahavir has been divided into these 4 expositions. This is nothing but the preachings of Lord Mahavir. But each exposition has its own unique way of expressing. Now, if you know the theory, if you know the
Yes, uncle.
so I can start from here.
Yes, yes. You can start and you can conclude in 5 minutes.
Yes, yes. So there is some network issue, so I'm now giving my video off, but let me run through that. Okay.
Yes, perfect.
Okay. So first principle that we discussed was about the 4 exposition. Okay. The next principle that I would like to mention is about the real and conventional point of view. 99% of our Jinvani consists of conventional statements. Okay. So we have to, from conventional viewpoint, we have to reach to the real viewpoint. Okay. So we have 4 types of conventional viewpoint and 4 types of real viewpoint. So from 1 to 4, then 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 is where you get to the supreme real point of view, and that is where you get the subject for your self realization. The third principle that I would like to highlight is about the independent nature of each substance, attributes, and modification. Okay, so the moment you realize the independent nature of all these three, automatically the doership goes away, and you are able to connect to your self soul. The fourth principle is about the 7 fundamental elements. Okay, soul, non soul, then influx, bondage, stoppage, dissociation, and liberation. These are the 7 fundamental elements. So once you understand its nature, and then you apply what is worth renouncing, what is worth adapting, what is worth taking shelter in, and what is worth only knowing. After applying this principle, you will be able to uh, you will be able to practice discriminative knowledge. Okay, and that's how you realize yourself. The fifth principle is about the 5 concomitant factors called 5 samvai. Okay, so for every action to take place, there are 5 factors or the 5 causes: nature, instrumental cause, right time, then we have destiny and effort. So out of these 5, 4 are not in our hands, but effort is in our hand, and that's why so much of preachings is being given. So if we make right efforts in the right direction as per the guidance given by Lord Mahavir, we will definitely manifest the actual of right belief. Harshal, unmute. Somebody is talking in the
Yes,
background.
yes, yes. I've already changed the settings. You can continue and conclude.
Okay, okay, thank you. So these 5 concomitant factors also leads us to self-realization. So parallel to these 5 concomitant factors is another principle called Nimit Upadan, principle in instrumental cause. It also depicts the same principle. Then we have 6 cases, which is also similar to like this. The next principle is about 4 non-existence: prior non-existence, future non-existence, mutual non-existence, and absolute non-existence. This also leads us to realize the independent nature of each and everything, and we are able to realize ourselves through this principle also. The second last principle that I would like to discuss is about 5 distinctive dispositions. So among the 5 distinctive disposition, one is the inherent nature, the param parinamic bhav, which is unchangeable all the time. Okay, so by understanding this 5 distinctive disposition, we are able to practice discriminative knowledge, and when we practice this discriminative knowledge, we are able to manifest happiness, equanimity, detachment, joy in the same situations. The last principle is the sequentially bound modification, the Krambat Paryay. This principle also uh, uh, this principle also is connected with another principle called the proof of omniscience, Sarvagnata Siddhi. This principle also teaches us how to realize ourselves. When we realize that all the modifications uh, of each substance is all predefined, predetermined, and it happens in that sequence only, the doership automatically goes away and we are able to realize ourselves. Now, I just mentioned a few principles, but all these are very helpful in understanding the principles of Jainism. And all these principles, if you understand properly, it leads to a balance in your life, you know. And when you are able to strike a balance, that is the time you enjoy yourself. You know, that is called happiness, that is called detachment, that is called equanimity, that is called serenity, tranquility, whatever you say. It's that situation where whatever is reflecting in your knowledge screen, you are able to absorb it. You are not reacting, you know, neither you are manifesting attachments and nor aversions. So this automatically uh, leads to detachment. Okay. So all these principles, Lord Mahavir, he practiced himself all these principles, and that is how he was able to balance his life, balance situations in his life. And with those practice and the discriminative knowledge that I said, his internal purity kept on increasing, and ultimately it reached a stage where he got rid of all types of karmas, and he manifested omniscience knowledge, and then subsequently he got liberated. So with this, I would like to end today's lecture. Tomorrow morning, you have to do that rosary 108 times, that beads in rosary. This one mantra I would say, Om Rim Shri Mahavir Jinendrai Namaha. The first thing you should do in the morning when you get up is this mantra 108 times. And then, of course, we will be doing the Deepavali Pujan tomorrow in the Mandir Ji. And whole day you can contemplate on these principles that I enumerated. All these are available on the JEEV platform. Each article has been very meticulously written by the JEEV team led by Vijal Sheth. And you will really enjoy if you are able to connect to all these principles. And that's all what I have to share with today on the occasion of Lord Mahavir's Nirvaan Mahotsav. Thank you, Harshil. If there are any questions, I'm ready to take up.
Thank you so much, Rajesh Shaw, for explaining us the entire story about Bhagwan Mahavir Nirvaan Mahotsav, taking it from very start till the basic principles, which are very much beneficial for us being Jain for sure, and who are currently doing Swadhyay, who are celebrating Bhagwan Mahavir Nirvaan Mahotsav. Tomorrow is that auspicious day, and we have celebrated the entire story, the entire uh, thing what happened years, thousands of years back. And now this session is open for any sort of questions or any point which anybody wants to raise. And even from the audience, you can unmute and definitely ask it. Yes, Darshit sir, please go ahead.
Okay, Jai Jinare to everyone. My question, Rajesh Bhai, was basically to do with the principles that you gave us. Is there any principle that holds more weight than another principle, or are all of them of equal weightage?
See, all the principles are of equal weightage. Only thing is that under some certain situations, some principle will work. Under certain other situations, some other principle will work. So when you have learned all these principles, automatically when you face challenges in your life, or when there is an adverse situation in your life, you know, one of these principles will come into your knowledge screen, and it will solve the problem. It will uh, help you, it will enable you to be in happy space in that particular moment. Okay. So there is nothing called that this principle is one
Okay.
of the greatest principle and this is bit inferior. No, nothing. It every and each and every letter, each and every sentence, each and every paragraph, each and every page of Jinvani leads to detachment, and detachment means happiness. Okay, so there is no such
Okay.
difference.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you so much.
Thank you, Rajesh Uncle, and thank you, Darshit sir, for raising this query. One more addition to this point in Gurudev Shri's main basic points which we learn. There's one point which is called Charo Anuyogon ka sar vitaragta hi hai. So similar, all the principles are there in front of us. We cannot just tag them the rank one, rank two, but definitely we know what to learn from this provision booth principles, which Rajesh sir explained. Any other query? Anybody from the audience?
Yes,
Yes.
Tejanindra sir, it was very nice to hear you, Rajesh. And one thing I want to add, just this Mahavir Bhagwan's Jinshashan, this period, and the next Mahabhatma Tirthankara is going to come, no, next Wood Sarpani. That time, until such time, Bhagavan Mahavir's Jinvani, this Shashan only will is there. Just I want to add it. Not only this time, coming Tirthankara, Mahabhatma Tirthankara is going to come, no? That time, until time, is Kevalajnan time. Up to that time, Jinvan is, I mean, Tirthankara's Mahavir Bhagwan's Jinsharshan is there. Just I want to add it, sir. It's very nice to be.
No. So after the fifth era, there will be no religion.
Yeah, some break is there, but yeah, break will be there. Break will be there
And then
because
it will start when the next Tirthankar comes. Okay.
yeah.
So Mahavir Swami's Sasana will end at the end of the fifth era.
Oh. Then yeah, naturally the sixth era is not gender is there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Then reverse will happen. So sixth there will not be there. Fifth
yeah,
will not
again
be
sixth.
there.
Yeah.
Again
yeah.
in the fourth era, the religion will start, and then there will be another Tirthankar.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, break is there. Yes. Sir.
Yeah.
It's nice. Sir. Thank you, sir. Jai Janindra, sir.
Yeah. Anyone else?
The Tirthankar will be the 24th Tirthankar, or is going to be the first again, sir? The fourth era?
First.
He will be the first. Okay.
Okay. Any other queries? Okay. So I guess now to conclude this lecture, the main agenda to keep this lecture on this very special occasion is to that we should know Mahapurushon ka Jeevan. I mean, as Rajesh sir explained, started his lecture that uh, Mahavir Bhagwan was not Bhagwan when he was born. He was a Rajkumar, and then the entire journey happened, and then the Keval Gyan and everything happened, and then he became Bhagwan. So this is the entire journey which we should learn, which we should know from Pratmanu Yoga, from the subject of Jainism, that how the evolution happened, how the journey. Yes. Yes, Rajesh Uncle, you were saying something.
So your image was freezed in my mobile. So it was my problem or your internet's problem. I don't know.
Okay. Maybe some issue. So let's conclude this. So I was just saying that this is the basic agenda that why we are learning Mahapurusho Ka Jeevan and why we should also be a part of Pratmanu Yog to know the stories of Raksha Bandhan, to know the story of Deepavali and all other events which we follow. So, yes, in the similar way, we should also halt this cycle of deaths and birth and attain the path of liberation very soon. And now, to before we end the lecture with Jinwani Suti, since there are many new people, I wanted to showcase what is JEEV portal and what is the work that we are currently doing in terms of English learning in Jainism. So to access the JEEV portal, you can visit the JEEV website under the courses, resources. You can navigate the topic you want to explore. Let's say three gems, path of liberation is one such topic. This topic which we had today will also be popped up there after 2 or 3 working days. Next, when you click on the topic, you will receive a link to access the course. So let's say today we are recording this lecture live. After 2 days, this lecture will directly get uploaded to the JEEV portal YouTube channel. So to get better accessibility and updates, you can press the bell icon on the JEEV portal YouTube channel. You can view your courses on the dashboard like this as popped up in the screenshot. Select the course you wish to access and you will gain entry to its content including articles, presentations, quizzes and more. There is one very interesting resource which we have provided is Gurudev Shri lecture bites, which is, let's say we are talking about Deepavali. So wherever Gurudev Shri spoke about Bhagwan Mahavir Nirvaan Mahotsav, that entire 13, 14, 15 or 5, 6, 7 minutes clip we have taken up from his lecture, and we have translated that subtitles into English subtitled video for the understanding of the English learners. So this is the speciality of the resources tab which we have done. These are the accessible points, the website, email address, and if there is anything, since you are already in touch with Rajesh Uncle, you can just get down your query or you can directly email us. So yeah, that's all about JEEV portal and the special lecture for today. Rajesh Uncle, we can conclude with Jinwani Stuti.
Yes. निज निधि निज में बताई, यह अनंत उपकार है, उसके लिए जिन वाणी माँ को वंदना सत बार है, उसके लिए जिन वाणी माँ को वंदना सत बार है.
9 times.
9 times